What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. So today we're getting back to our regularly scheduled programming. No more April Fool's jokes, but I had a blast making that video. I was laughing the whole time, and it was kind of hard to record, actually, because I was laughing so much. So I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. It was a ton of fun. But anyway, today we are going to be covering the rear grips, so the wraps, like serpent wrap, speed tape, all those things that used to not work. A few of them have been patched and actually work now, and I tested them for all the most popular guns, so guns like the FFAR, the Groza, MAC-10, Cold War MP5, Bullfrog, LW3, Pellington, M16, and AUG. I tested it for all those and got really accurate numbers, really consistent numbers. And I also got the sprint to fire time penalties for the serpent wrap. I didn't get it for all of them yet, but you'll see why when we actually get into the numbers, why that's not that important. But yeah, we're going to jump into it here in a second. But as always, if you guys like the content, consider dropping a like, dropping a comment, and subscribing. That helps me grow, helps me out, and helps support the website. It's not super fun to do this stuff, so I'd obviously super appreciate it if you guys want to support. But yeah, let's jump into it, and I will show you all the data that I found. All right, so all of this has been updated on the website at this point. I'm going to start with like the ARs. So we're going to go FFAR first and look at the rear grip table. So you can see now there's actually 2 grips that do help with your ADS time, but 3 that still don't. So the speed tape helps 9 milliseconds, serpent wrap helps 17 milliseconds, but the drop shot, jungle, and airborne elastic all still penalize. I tested this individually on all these weapons, so this wasn't like assumed data anywhere. This is all accurate. And then I also retested sprint to fire, so it turns out serpent wrap is a lot more penalizing on sprint to fire now than it used to be. So it adds 41 milliseconds to your sprint to fire time, and then 37 milliseconds to your tactical sprint to fire, which is when you double tap sprint and your guy picks up his gun and you run faster for a few seconds. So it adds time to both of those. So this is going to be really good for the FFAR, especially now that we have the nerf to the ammunition. I haven't had a chance to measure that yet, but now the salvo 50 round fast mag, if you're not aware, it is actually more penalizing than the STANAG 50 round mag, just like it always should have been, because it has a better reload time. So you want to switch to the STANAG 50 round on the FFAR now. So just a quick note on that, and then next up we can go to the Groza. I'm not going to cover all of these because you can just use the website and check it for yourself, but I wanted to show some. Rear grip table again. The numbers are very similar for the Groza. 13 millisecond help with the speed tape, 17 millisecond help with the serpent wrap, and then the other 3 still hurt. And this is the same for all the guns. And then the penalization for an assault rifle with the serpent wrap is going to be the same for sprint to fire time on all of them. So 41 for sprint to fire, 37 for tactical sprint to fire. Because of that, for your SMG builds, you're pretty much going to have to run either the CQB pad or the Raider stock on both the FFAR and the Groza, just because they help with sprint to fire. So in order to, if you're going to use the serpent wrap, you really need to counter that sprint to fire time penalty with either the CQB or the Raider, just because sprint to fire is so important up close. There's so many situations where I die because of it if I don't have good sprint to fire. So especially if you're running this as an SMG, you're going to want to switch to, if you weren't using it already, the Raider stock or the CQB. Next up, we have the XM4. So this is the XM4. I also directly tested this. So these aren't assumed values, and they matched the values of the FFAR exactly, which makes sense because they have the same base ADS. So the fact that they match makes total sense. Usually they copy paste when things are similar like that. So I'm not going to go over this again. You can just watch the FFAR part of the video if you want to hear me talk about it. But they're exactly the same as the FFAR. And then let's go over to an SMG. So I tested all the popular SMGs. I tested the MAC-10, the Bullfrog, and the Cold War MP5. So MAC-10 first here, rear grip table. Similar story again. I got 9 milliseconds for the speed tape, 17 milliseconds for drop shot penalty, 17 milliseconds for the jungle grip penalty, and the serpent wrap is 17 milliseconds helping as well. I have not updated this yet. I apparently missed this one, but it was something like, it's very similar still, very little penalty to sprint to fire for SMGs. I think it was 8 milliseconds sprint to fire and 4 milliseconds tactical sprint to fire. I've done it for some of the SMGs, so we should see it here in a second. But there is a penalty, it's just pretty small. So for SMGs, I don't know. SMGs, one of the big things that gives them a big advantage over ARs in close quarters is that sprint to fire time. So it might be worth using the speed tape, even though the penalty is really small on the sprint to fire. I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up, honestly. They're both good options. They both help with ADS time now, which is great that we finally have something on Cold War guns that helps with ADS time. But let's check out the Cold War MP5 now. Rear grip table. Yeah, so this one had it. So minus 13 for speed tape, minus 17 for serpent wrap, and then the other three still hurt, just like the same trend we've seen everywhere. But this one does have the updated sprint to fire time penalties, so you get 8 milliseconds for sprint to fire and 16 milliseconds penalty for tactical sprint to fire. So again, kind of got a balance. In this case, I think for SMGs, I'll be running speed tape if I want something that helps with ADS time. Because I don't want to hurt my sprint to fire time on an SMG. That's one of the huge benefits of using an SMG is the sprint to fire. And then last up, I believe, is the Bullfrog, and I think this was the same exactly as the Cold War MP5, so let's check that out real fast. Yeah, I need to update this, 21 milliseconds down to 16. But yeah, the numbers besides that are the same on here, 13 for speed tape, 13 penalty for drop shot, 13 penalty for Spetsnaz, and 17 helping for Serpent, and then 17 hurting for Gru. So I don't know why they updated some of these and didn't update others. It just seems weird and disingenuous to me, but I don't know. Who knows? We never know why they're doing what they're doing, but at least we do have some attachments that help now. All right, and then the last 4 that I tested, these don't actually have, first of all, the LW3 and Pellington aren't on the website yet. We're going to do that very soon. The only reason they're not on the website is because I don't have the damage profiles yet. I just haven't had a chance to test them, so I should be able to do that very soon. Very soon TM, as always. But these are the guns that I tested that don't have these attachments on the website yet. So Cold War AUG and M16, I'll actually put these on there tonight, now that I have hard numbers for them. So similar story here as the other attachments, or as the other guns. So speed tape helps, serpent wrap also helps, but helps a little bit more, and then it's going to penalize you on sprint to fire time. And these numbers for sprint to fire time penalty will be the same as the assault rifles, so it'll be 41 sprint to fire penalty and 37 milliseconds of tactical sprint to fire penalty, just because these marksman rifles and tactical rifles have the same sprint to fire times as assault rifles do, so I'm sure the penalty will be the same there. I haven't directly tested it, but I will. And then Pellington and LW3, same exact story again. I haven't tested the flinch resistance yet. That's something I need to do. That'll probably be its own video coming up soon. I have no idea if it works or not. I haven't checked it again. I checked it originally and it didn't work, but I need to check it again now that they've updated some of this. I'm assuming it still doesn't, but we'll find out. But same story here. If you want best ADS times, you're going to go Serpent. And because it's a sniper, you don't care about sprint to fire times. So I would just use Serpent for sure on your sniper classes for better ADS times. All right, quick, simple video just covering the data that I gathered today. And it did take me like 6 hours to get all this data. So again, if you consider supporting by dropping a like, a comment, a sub, that would be awesome. But as always, I hope you find this interesting and useful. And I hope you have a good day. And I'll see you guys all in the next video.